Whoa. Hello, good morning. Hi. Let's try this again. Yoink. There, I have voice. Sound guy is making me sound awesome. So I have a favor to ask. My son, who's 6 years old, last night goes, Papa, where are you? And I said, Malmö. And he goes, where's that? And I said, in Sweden. Okay. Which, is his thing. I'm not going to ask another question because I'm not going to know the answer to it. And he says, what do you do? And I says, I'm going to talk to a load of people today. And he goes, really? Like 250 billion, twillion, 10? And I said, yes. 6-year-old math is like, he charged me, what was it? 257.3 for a pizza. And I thought, oh, it's like Norway. I live in Norway. So can I get everyone to say hello? And I'm going to just take a quick video of you all saying, his name is Magnus. Who would you all say in whatever native tongue you have, hello, Magnus. There, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. He's going to be so happy. How did you get all those people to do it? And I said, social engineering, kid. Welcome to the psychology of social engineering with the Irish lunatic in the front. Yay! So I have coffee. It's only regular coffee, not Irish, okay? So, boo, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, psychology of social engineering. This talk is usually an hour long. I am going to compress it into 40 minutes. No pressure. Now, when I do this talk, usually I get people complaining because they go, Niall, psychology, tech talk, what are you talking about? So I change it to hacking the human OS, because this is much more fun. Because the human has an OS built in that's full of bugs and little things we discover as we get older. We find out we have little kind of things. I didn't know I could do that. There's a few bugs in everybody. Like one of my personal ones, I cannot blink with my right eye. My wife uses this on a regular basis by just winking at me, and I go back to her. She goes, I love that. You're so cute. And I said, I feel like a... Anyway, I said, stop doing that. So if you haven't met me yesterday, my name is Niall. I am the head of cybersecurity for Norway at Capgemini. This is my contact details. I'll have it up at the end as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's skip on. And I always start that social engineering and all the type of things we do like this are always hidden in plain sight. There's stuff going on every day that we don't see. We're being manipulated, we're being engineered to do stuff, and we just don't realize it. And I was building this deck about 6 months ago, and my son rocks up into my office and he goes, Papa, hvorfor er det en mikkelrev på skjermen din? I said, use your English words. And he goes, why is there a fox on your screen? And I went, it's not a fox. He goes, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. He said, yes, it is, Papa. And I went, no, it's not, son. It's a person, or it's lots of people. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, look, there's knees, feet, bums. And he's like, there's people there. And I'm like, yes, there's people there. He goes, why are there people there? Why are they dressed like that? I said, it's art, or so your mother says. My wife is the bane of all my jokes, and she loves it. She thinks it's very funny. But when she sees the talks, she will never see the talk. So he comes out and he goes, Papa, is there people in everything? Now, when you're designing something and you've got a little 6-year-old helping you, you go, yes, there is. And he goes, is there people in all the animals? I said, yes, there is. Go find one. So he goes out and looks at our cat, and he's staring intently. And my wife goes, Niall! I said, what? What'd you do to the boy? What do you mean what I did? I told him he's there looking at the cat trying to find a person's ass. I said, yeah, my fault. But we see all this every time. We see all these kind of social engineering tricks, all these little things that are hidden in plain view, and until they're shown to you, you don't realize they're there. So like one of the things I always like point out is like this is, ooh, nice. I just got louder, right? That's not just in my head. I point out this like for perfume ads. So this is Hugo Boss, the scent. Now the funny thing is, this is a print ad. You see this on a billboard, you see this on TV, you'll see this anywhere. But how do you sell perfume without smell-o-vision? What do you see when you see this advertising for the first time? You see a dark, a kind of a brown bottle, so you probably know it's something warm, woody. You see a man in a very fine black suit, kind of slightly open knotted tie, like late stubble, and a very attractive woman leaning in and going, "I'd love a kebab." This is the PG-13 version of this one. But what is it selling you? It's selling you an idea that by smelling like this, you could be this, right? We're selling effectively a smell with sex. It's the way we do things. But this is what we're doing. And you buy into this. You automatically go, "Oh yeah, I could be that. I could have that. That's awesome." And this is very subtle in comparison to something like Dolce & Gabbana. And like Dolce & Gabbana says, if you smell like this, you could look like this chiseled god on an Aegean Sea. Now, if that was the case, my wife would be dunking me this in every morning. "Damn it, you're not the man I married. Woohoo!" "Ah, Antonio, you're back." It would be that, but this is the type of thing we're selling. We're selling this all the time. But it wasn't always like this. Video coming up. It wasn't always like this because perfumes and scents were not there for men, right? It's a very new thing to always have a kind of a mass-produced scent. You normally only the kind of rich in the early times had this type of stuff. But men in the 60s smelled like barnyards. They smelled like dustbins. They smelled bad. Smelling nice was a very feminine thing. But one company kind of turned that round. And if I ask you to think, what is the earliest aftershave you remember from dad or granddad? What is it? Everyone goes Old Spice. There's one older than that that'll nuke everything. And when I tell it to you, you'll even smell it in your mind. It's Brut. It's that little green bottle. Remember that one? Little with the tall neck? It is a bio-warfare weapon in a bottle. You put this on, you smell nothing else in the room. You go into any student bar, drop this out, Brut. Oh yeah, Brut. Granddad. All right? And how did they sell it? Very easily. Hopefully this video plays now.
For every man who wears Brut, there's a woman who loves what he smells like. Because there's something about Brut that's nice to be close to.
Honey, I was just thinking about you.
Brut, it smells like a man.
It's fairly obvious what way they were going with that one. It smells like a man. How are we going to sell it to men? Well, men are simple. All the women are going, "Fuck, don't I know?" All the guys going, "What?" Men are simple. So what are we going to do? We're going to say, "It smells like a man. I smell like a man because I'm a man. That'll work. Yay!" And Brut was given to every single parent. Now, if I say something like that and you smell Brut, you're instantly taking back to that particular time because the smell evokes. But you're not wrong with Old Spice. Old Spice kind of went on and did it as well, except they kind of just did it a little differently.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
So they doubled down and went, "It smells like a man." Because, reinforce the concept, kids. But honestly, if you smell Old Spice, you smell Brut, you smell your first probably father figure. You smell, it is a really weird thing. It's a very comforting smell for a lot of us. When we smell it, we go, "Oh yeah, that's dad when he got it for Christmas off every one of us." Or that's granddad's shaving soap. Or it's something, it's very, very particular. And we use smell a lot in types of engineering techniques. For example, if you go into any type of store and you have bread being baked as you walk in, There's a certain kind of, I think I'll have fresh bread now, because there's a whole warming sensation. And we kind of say that's how people sell houses. They say you should have, bread kind of in the oven, so that lovely kind of warm, homely smell. It's a very strong thing. And they're not the only type of people that do this. There's like, for example, underwear do this a lot. Okay? So you could, if you wore Calvin Klein, end up looking like Justin Bieber. All right? Except more likely you're going to end up looking like this. I am so proud of this slide. Because this is like what we sold you, what you got. What the engineer designed, what the developer produced. See, I can bring this back to software engineering all the time, kids. But it is very strong. All right? Because the thing is that like they're selling this in kind of idea. You could be like this if you were. And the thing is, that poor old Justin, he was kind of photoshopped a little bit. And they increased certain sizes of his anatomy, like his biceps. I'll let that one sink in for a bit. This is really a talk designed for ladies or for gay men. I'm not too sure. But it's the thing with this was that they're not the only people doing it, because they sell an aspirational concept to you. In other words, they're trying to convince you on something based on a view or a picture that in your head you will try to buy into. For example, car manufacturers. This is a Kia Suburban. Now, what do you see when you see this picture? What do you observe? The Scandinavian audience does not disappoint. They're all this is where I wonder if my telepathy is working. Nope, don't got it. We'll try again. I accept all Scandinavian languages except Danish, because I'm really confused by the potato in the mouth thing. How to eliminate part of the audience. So when I saw this for the first time, I went, interesting advertising. How the hell did he drive it over the lawn like that? That was my whole thing, and my wife said, that's what you got from this? That's what you got from this? I said, either that or he was such a really precision driver, she was extremely turned on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, honey, just work that gear stick. It's an automatic, I don't care. But this is the thing. I'm literally going, would you buy a Kia based on this ad? Not really. But that's the kind of idea that you might buy into. Like in BMW have a similar thing where they say, this is an advertising for BMW parking. Park anywhere. Anyone got a BMW and just likes to abandon it or call it parking? Most BMW X6s will only see maybe a speed bump or the side of a curb as they're delivering kids to kindergarten. There is nothing more. But the idea is, they said, by having a car like this, you can consider yourself sporty, outgoing, and adventurous. That's why they show a lot of cars, driving in kind of really racy conditions to appeal to people who want to buy this. And the concept is here that they're putting something in your mind to try and make you do something. And this is the idea of engineering you a little bit more. And then if we look at something where they say, we're going to give you a problem statement and show you how to solve it. For example, like men's fitness, where you have like summer shred, get ripped in just 20 minutes a day. We all know, or for those of you in this kind of thing, getting this type of fitness level is extremely difficult. I have a friend of mine who's a fitness model, and to get cover fit, he doesn't drink water for 3 days. Works out, doesn't drink water, so he basically dehydrates himself, gets this six-pack, and then they do a lot of kind of lights shining down to get the definition. And I said, is it just the lights? And he says, yeah, Niall, it's just mainly the lighting. Could I have that? And he goes, no. But this is nothing. Absolutely nothing till we go to the psychological assault that you find with women's magazines, where they will sell you both the problem that you have, or think you have, and give you the solution. Eat up and slim down. The new age way to age-proof your face. Is he killing your orgasm? This is the mildest one I could find. I was absolutely shocked when I went Google. Like, if you want to have a really kind of screwy day at work and get done by every internet filter, Google cover pages of Vogue or Cosmo. It just literally is like, oh my God. But they're selling both. You didn't know you had a problem? Now you think you have a problem, and we have the solution. We are selling both. Very kind of strong psychological things. They're using this concept to say, we're going to put something in your mind, we'll give you an aspiration, give you an idea, and then let it percolate in your head, and then sell you the solution. It is interesting and clever marketing and advertising that works because people end up buying a lot of this. When we look at going into this concept, we have things that are inside our heads known as biases. A bias is something that will cause us to do something in a specific way. It may be something like, we all hear things like racial bias. You know, I prefer looking at people, or I'm more comfortable with people of my same kind of skin color, whatever. This is a concept because they're generally afraid of something that's different. This is a common problem. And then you realize it's not really a problem, we're all human, so it's fine. But people have this, it's a bias. And there's another one, there's a lot of cognitive biases, and specifically one called anchoring. And anchoring is a very interesting and subtle technique, and when you see it and then you understand it, everything you begin to understand a lot of how our society and certain selling techniques work. And it leads into why social engineering works in the next step. But anchoring is how we choose by comparing with a nearby reference point. Anchoring is also based on the first piece of information you're given, it becomes the reference point for all the next decisions you make. To put it in context, we have things like, for example, it wasn't as good as the first one. It was better than the first one. It's probably a really good dinner I've had. She's really pretty in comparison to the other girl. He's really pretty in comparison to the other guy. You have this concept, if you will look at something and go, that's the first piece of information, and then the next piece is it becomes a comparison point for the first piece. We do this all the time. How many of you go and buy stuff, but you have to go to at least 2 stores to find things? Hands up. Not a lot of men in that one. Yeah, there. So you get it. Men going into a store. This fits me. I'll take 7 in every color. 1 for the week. We're good. I have this shirt in 7 colors. It drives my wife nuts. She says, you can go shopping in 20 minutes. I said, yeah, and I'll be shopping for a couple of months. But we do this a lot. And now to kind of break your brain a bit. This is one of the initial iPod Touches when it was released. And when you see on screen, you see it's 8 gigabytes, 32, 64, okay? And the pricing is $229, $299, and $399. Which, according to you, is the best value? Go on, you can all shout or do things or even use your voice, it's kind of good. The middle one. Why is the middle one? It's always the middle one. Scientific. You were the kid that literally said C on every multiple choice question, and then when he got an A, B answer, he was like, I don't know. Yes. The one on the right is cheaper per gigabyte. Okay. See, that depends on how you view stuff. Most people will go for the middle one. They'll go for 32 because of a couple of things. One, the first piece of information they read is 8, and then they see the price, which is $229 or $230 in real dollars. And then they go to 32, and they go, well, it's 4 times the size for the next one, and it only costs $70 more. All right? And then the next comparison is it's 32 gigabytes to 64, so it's double, but it costs $100 more. That's the rationale. And the reason is, as a Western society, we read from left to right, so we'll work our way across that. But also, it's a real psychological trick, because the first part is the anchoring point. The first price point and the first size are the two points of information you're using to build your next set of comparisons. It's really freaky. And Apple do this extremely well. When we look at something like the Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi 3G, you see $499, $599, $699, $629, $729, $829. Everyone reads left to right, and then we'll make the next comparison on Wi-Fi plus 3G, and then make it left to right again. And this is done all the time. When you are trying to figure out, well, what type of product do you want first? Then what price point do you want to pay for it? Coffee shops do this everywhere. You go to any coffee shop, you will see the list of coffees down. Because you know what type of coffee you want. Cortado, cafe latte, macchiato, whatever. It's all the way down. And then you're going to work out the size based on, and you'll see something like 45, 48, 52. And they'll be kind of the pricing points, especially in Norway for us anyway. And if they were equidistant, in other words, you were charging for a small, $1, a medium, $2, and a large, $3, which one do you think most people would pick? Small or medium, believe it or not. Because they don't really care. They just want either the small or medium. No one really wants the large. You change it to $1, $2.50, and $3 for a small, medium, large. Most people will pick either medium or large, or most likely will go for large. Because it's only 50 cents bigger to go for the large. Because that's their anchoring point. And if you look at every single kind of place where they have small, medium, large, you will see this across the board, and you will see this everywhere. There's also an effect known as, for example, for anchoring with pricing. When you do this in such a way that if you make the most expensive thing so expensive that no one wants to buy it, everyone will think the next one's a good bargain and buy it. It's there. Dell do this on their what they call their configurators. So you have their most expensive thing is like really expensive, but the next one below it has kind of such a good price point, but the difference between the top and the next one isn't so great. So you kind of go, that's a really good deal, but that's the highest markup for them. So that's the one, and it's really odd the way they do this. And a lot of companies do types of pricing models. Because you'll notice here the most expensive is first, going to the last, going to free. And do you know the reason why it's not the other way around? Think about what I told you, the first bit. It's anchoring. The first bit of information helps you to find your next piece. So if free was the first one, you'd be comparing everything to free, and everyone loves free. So that's why you put the most expensive and you start getting cheaper. And at that point, people are going, this isn't so bad now. I've got a good deal, I've got a good deal, I've got a bit, oh, it's okay. And then they stop. It's really bizarre. Same with the likes of this. I always put this slide in because it's a bit of fun. But like, the New York Times had a fantastic deal where they offered the 6 months print edition, $90. 6 months digital edition, $90. The 6 months print edition for $130. And the 6 months print and digital edition for $130. Which one do you think most people picked? Come on, this one's easy. Print and digital. And why do you think why do people think they think the print and digital? You got both for the same price. But were they giving you both for the same price really? Because we used the digital edition to create the print edition, one. So the print editions are digital editions already created. But why do they want to sell more print papers? Advertising. Because that's what they needed to do. So that was the psychology of conversing you into this. And these type of psychological tricks are used extensively when we're doing things like phishing. Because for most of us, phishing is kind of like some random Nigerian prince saying, I've got $5 bajillion, or my son, and they're trying to give it away. But if we send out this massive amount of spam, that's just literally dragnetting. We're hoping we're going to catch stupid people. So we use things much more like spear phishing. Spear phishing is where we use targeted information against you to generate trust. Okay? So lately there's been a massive amount of spear phishing done using what is known as combined with a technique known as sexploitation. Have you seen this spam? Email comes in. Dear Niall, I am a hacker. Good for you. We have hacked your webcam, and we've noticed you've been on naughty websites and recorded your screen and your webcam while you've been on said naughty websites. To prove we're real, here's the last 4 digits of your phone number and your password. Please send 1 Bitcoin to us, and if you think we are faking it, we'll send it to your 6 closest friends on Facebook. And we'll also do this. And I was like, now, I know this is a scam. So I'm sitting down having my coffee on Sunday, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I spot this, and my heart stops. I go, shit. Dude, what the hell? And Niall's logical brain goes, Niall, I got this. You gave me coffee, we're friends. I said, go brain, go. And it goes, 1, they can get the last 4 digits of your email or last 4 digits of your phone number off anything. Good call. Nice one, brain. Good for you. That's a very old password. You haven't used that in 12 years. Good call, brain. You don't have a webcam. I was like, love you, brain. A friend of mine got it. She rang the police, so scared. And I said, yeah, but it was a badly translated Norwegian, etc. Same problem you have in Swedish, probably, that you can spot machine translated Swedish. You know, it looks like Danish or Norwegian, I don't know. But you know, for Norwegian, it literally looks like, okay, even I as a non-native speaker goes, I know this is crap. But we have this a lot, and we'll use more advanced spear phishing with the likes of whaling, which is where we go for larger targets like CEOs. What we'll do is we'll go after who's the most powerful person in any company. Thank you. CEO's assistant, because they know where the CEO is, and the CEO listens to them. So, for example, when Jane's in Tokyo doing work, I ring John and go, hey, John, can I speak to Jane? She's in Tokyo, mate. Oh, I'll get her on her cell phone, thanks. One piece of information. I know Jane's in Tokyo. I now know I have to target a specific financial person very quickly to get them to do something from Jane's address. And you kind of push hard at the end of a day when they're trying to do something. This happened to a company and they lost $1 million. It was transferred to a Ukrainian bank account. Some couple of Ukrainians went, you know, and bought stuff. Because we focus on getting to you to make mistakes. We have human error. In this corner, we have firewalls, encryption, antivirus, etc. And in this corner, we have Dave. We all have an inner Dave. It's like when your wife asks you, do I look good in this dress? And you answer honestly. Dave, you bastard. We all make mistakes, and that's where this causes problems, because we are very prone to it as humans. So when we do this, we make things like, we see something like this. Anyone use LastPass? Excellent. Does anyone recognize this? When those who use LastPass, this was the older version, not the new one. Do you see what's wrong with it? Chrome extension .pw. It's a frickin' website, not an extension. Meaning that if you typed in your master password, this is for a password manager. Quick question, how many of you do use password managers? The rest of you, for shame. If you take nothing from this talk, please, please, please get a password manager. Enable multi-factor authentication on Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever type of authentication mechanisms you use, please do this. Okay? Go do it now if you have to and miss the rest of my talk. I don't mind. I do actually, but I don't. I say it with love. Because we see this, and this is where a person will see this using something like tab napping, where we'll inject this site. You'll think, oh crap, my thing is timed out. I put in my password. All of a sudden, they've got access to my password vault, and then I'm done. Because we use other things like this. For example, when you do the iCloud hack, which was in 2014, where a lot of celebrities' photos were sent out because people used weak passwords or they were socially engineered. You see this and you think, oh, no one would find this, and no one would really kind of fall for this. View this on a phone. You won't see the URL. And if I put apple.com.findmyiphone.help, and I have a Let's Encrypt, for example, TLS cert, it'll look green, it'll say apple.com, and you'll go, this looks legit. You'll fall for it. But how would you make someone fall for it? Because you'd use something like, sending email is impersonal, but sending a text message makes you go, ooh, bzz, yay, someone sent me a text message. It's old school. It's like ringing someone. You know, this voice transmission thing, it's odd. But if you saw this, there's been unusual activity in your account, log into the client, and you press this, someone would connect to it. My bank, when I was in Seattle, I went up to one of the 50 billion Starbucks in the mall and bought a coffee for $3. I then went downstairs and bought a Helly Hansen jacket for $700. It was still 25% of the price that I would pay in Norway where it's made. And they rang me within 30 seconds and said, sir, are you in Seattle? I said, yes, I am. I said, can you tell us your last purchases? I said, this and this. And he says, whew. And I says, ooh, cool. Did it set off some tripwire? And he goes, Yeah. But don't tell anyone. I was like, okay. So, shh. And I was like, that's amazing. But, you know, you get, like, how do you bypass two-factor authentication with SMS? You tell people you're going to hack them, and then you ask them for the code. We've recently noticed a suspicious sign-in attempt for you at this IP address. If you did not sign in for this location and would like to lock your account temporarily, please reply to the alert with a 6-digit verification code you will receive momentarily. If you did, please ignore. If you saw this and it's Google saying, you know, something's wrong with your account, do you want to lock it? Freak out, make a mistake, send 6 digits. I'm going, nice. Access to your email. My wife has the best email on the planet. She was so early to Gmail that she got one of the first kind of email addresses, and it's a common name in Norway, which means that people mistype it everywhere around the world. We have got, at home, someone's tax returns, people's car rental. We were in the middle of divorce proceedings with one couple, and a couple of naughty photos. And I was like going, she goes, now, Niall, if you're not careful, I'll delete this and you'll never get good stuff for your talks again. I'm like, we're cool. And it's very easy to send text messages. And you know, sorry, it's very easy to send text messages. And when you do it like this, it's very cheap. But I talked about voice. It is still the #1 way to get people to trust you. Who are the best social engineers in the world? Automation salesman, not a chance. Women. Women are the best social engineers in the world. Men have no defense against them. Because socially, if a woman is crying in public, every man goes, Superman! What's wrong, love? You okay? Where is he? I'll kill him for you. We have no defense against a damsel in distress. It's a psychological thing. We try to be helpers. We want to be that savior. Now let's put it to the test and show you how bad it can be.
So I invited a few of the world's best hackers to try to hack me and show me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas for DEF CON, the biggest hacker convention of the year. They're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice elicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and
Okay.
see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. My husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
At gmail.com?
Jessica gets access to my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Shh. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account.
Jess uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yeah.
So, crazy, no? But did you hear what she said? We're getting a loan and we've just had a baby. Get this done now. Husband's a bastard. Can you help me? Like, who would you be, like, any of you would be that asshole that would say no? It's very hard. There's one guy, yeah, I'd be that guy. Good on you, sir. Whew, tough crowd. But that's the thing. You set the scene, and all of a sudden, our defenses go into a specific mode. And of course, customer service representative wants to help. And we will use these type of social engineering attacks because we're going to leverage these kind of sociological and physiological kind of techniques. In other words, we're going to go against the grain. No one would do this because, to be honest, when you see something like this, it's a pregnant woman. Are pregnant women evil? Of course not. They're lovely. They're doing something every man can't do. I was about to say most men can't do, but I know it looks that way, but Jesus, no. It's actually just a baby keg. Be delivered in about 9 months. I show this and I say, is this person evil? Would you, like most people go, okay, when you see a pregnant woman, you see, especially on a bus or something, you'll offer your seat, you're very cautious, you make sure they're okay. But if you're going to use social engineering like this, you use something to this technique where you know people will fall into a specific kind of mode when they see you. So we'll use, like, for example, Jack Hyde. She's a social engineer. She was trying to get into a building, and one of the things she said was, if you want to do a Twitter search for badge, you'll get an easy way to get into any conference, because people will show you what their badges look like, especially if they have a QR code on them. You can give us the dumpster dive, but she says, she wanted to get in, and one of the easiest ways to get in is to be pregnant, because pregnant people are always needing of help. So she needed to get pregnant quickly, so 2 minutes later she was this. And then underneath that was a whole lot of Wi-Fi hacking gear. So she's going to have a beautiful baby router in like about 8 months. But, as she said, I can't remember who said this first, but coffee fills hands and opens doors. The 4 in the carrier are filled with water. So you can imagine, pregnant woman carrying, ankles are killing me, that man. Would you be that ass that wouldn't open the door? Yeah, one other one. Are you single, sir? Sorry, I had to ask it. But like she said, between the belly and a bunch of coffee, I had people jumping to open doors for me. We're going to use a psychological or sociological technique. And like we use this in a form of other biases. When you see something like this, New York cops eating donuts, of course. I say I'm Irish at the start of this talk, and everyone assumes I'm drunk. I even played up to it with the coffee. When I go to the US, I turn my Irish up to 11. How's it going, Bigara? I'll be throwing potatoes at you. And people are like, oh, I love your accent. It sounds so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I do that. But that's the thing. And it's funny because I experience it myself when I go abroad. They say, do you want to go to the Irish bar? I'm like, we call them pubs back home and we have loads of them. Can we not go to your place? Oh, no, they're boring. Because that's what everyone assumes. Like an Irish person can turn up to work drunk in the middle of the day. It's fine, she's Irish, it's fine. We use the biases against you because we know we can get away with it. At least that's what I tell my boss every time I turn up hammered. I'm trying to keep up appearances, kid. The Benjamin Franklin effect is kind of the one last technique I want to tell you about. And it's a really weird thing. If you walk down like any type of street down here in Malmo and you offered 1,000 Swedish kroner to someone, would they take it? Or would your reaction like, what's wrong with it? Because if you offer to do someone a favor first, they get suspicious. However, if you ask someone to do you a favor, they start to trust you. And then you can ask them for a second favor, and they'll trust you more. It is a really weird thing to do, but asking someone for a favor generates trust from them to you. Because no one likes being indebted to anyone. And it is such a weird technique to use, and salesmen use this all the time, and we have this technique, and it is just, go read it, go have a bit of fun with it, because ultimately, when we look at the likes of social engineering, we look at psychological, sociological, technological, physiological levers to get our own way. Social engineering is dirty little tricks to get your own way. For parents, for example, the last bit, I always say that parents are the ultimate social engineers in general because they have to deal with these small lunatics. Okay? How many of you lie to your kids? Yep, every parent, no problem. And everyone goes, oh, so which parents don't lie to their kids? Do they know about Santa? No? You heart. Santa's. What sort of maniac are you? You never told them about it. They don't know it exists. They're like, who is this crazy man that comes down our chimney and gives us toys? Fair play. Tooth fairy? The tooth fairy? You don't know what this is. So those poor, Jesus, those kids get nothing. No lies. Well, I don't know how you do it. Honestly, as a father, I've said, no, that animal is still alive. It's just sleeping, son. But I've done it to my son, and I've done it to my kids that says, you can have 2 pieces of broccoli or 3. They're still eating broccoli no matter which way it goes, but they think they have a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the psychology of social engineering. Thank you very much.